What's up guys, JV2017 here, and today we're discussing the new Update 1.6 patch for Fallout 4 that just went into beta on Steam. That means it should be live on PC soon, and Bethesda expects this update to be live on consoles once it goes through certification in the coming weeks. That's their wording. Just a few things to note before we dive into these changes. The 1.5.4 update was recently delayed on PS4. I'm not sure exactly what kind of effect that might have on the timing of update 1.6 for PS4, but I would think that 1.5.4 needs to come out before 1.6 on PS4. Regardless, I'll make sure and update you console players in the comments below once this update is live on Xbox One and PS4. In this video, I'll share a general overview of what is introduced in this patch, and I've left a link to the official patch notes in the description below if you are interested. Starting with the new features, we have a few new things introduced in this patch. First off is the exit save. Exiting to the main menu will create an exit save, and then once you hop into the game using that exit save, that save will disappear. So just for example purposes, I can jump into any game mode. This also works on survival, which is the big key. And then if I need to leave quickly, if I exit to main menu, it will create a save. And so this is just really player friendly. This is user friendly in my opinion. Some people may think this is not very good because of survival mode, and it'll tempt them to kind of cheat their way around it by exit saving. And once again, this does work in survival mode, but I do think that for certain people that aren't able to play for long periods of time, can't reach a bed, this will get rid of a lot of that complaining. And also, I've always been an advocate of player choice. This allows players to save if they need to leave. And if you think that's not hardcore enough for you, then just don't use the exit save. It's very simple. Just don't save, and then you won't be, you just quit out of the game. You don't have to quit to main menu. You can quit to desktop, and it won't create a save for you. Same goes for console players. The way around this is to not exit to main menu. It's just to quit the app. I know on Xbox One, you can just double tap and then click the start button and click quit, and you're done. And you won't create that exit save, once again, if you're too hardcore for this exit save. I know that sounds ridiculous, but some people will be complaining about this. But I think it's a nice new feature. Also underneath new features are add-on specific icons in workshop mode. So that simply means if you hop into workshop and you're looking for an item, it'll have a little icon on that item to indicate which DLC it came from. And this is going to be really useful for me because whenever I make a new items video in these workshop DLCs, there's always one or two items that I either miss or I add that were already in the game. And I just can't keep track of all of the new items or which ones were added in a certain DLC or not, because once again, I like to play around with workshop mode, but it's not the only thing I do in Fallout. Arguably, it's the least thing I do in Fallout in terms of the time that I spend on it. And so this adds little icons and lets you know what was added in what DLC and what was not. The last item under new features is the kind of under the hood, behind the scenes support for upcoming add-ons. So if I had to guess, this is going to be Vault-Tec Workshop. Obviously, that's the one that's coming this month at some time, and maybe even Nuka World a little bit. Maybe not, because I think they'll have another patch like a 1.7 before that comes out, but maybe not. It has been a while since we had our last, major update patch. That's it with new features. Now let's roll into our fixes, and we've got general fixes and quest fixes. That's pretty much the only two categories I could lump these into. So starting off with general fixes, we have stability and performance improvements. We get that every single patch, so that's something we expect. There was also a crash related to targeting an enemy weapon while in VATS, and that's no longer a problem. That has been fixed. Also, there was a problem with companions. They would get stuck while walking and they'd be unable to run. So if your companion was just not behind you, you're like, where the hell did my companion go? Then this should help with that. I know that happens to me all the time, so I truly hope that this is a nice fix for that issue. They've also fixed a random issue where the player would become invisible permanently. So it's not like a stealth boy, it would just happen, and that's happened to me before as well. So nice to see that they've cleaned that up. They've also fixed an issue where dead settlers could be commanded and assigned to supply lines. So if they died, they were still assigned and you didn't really know, that's no longer a problem anymore. They will be unassigned if they do die. There was also a problem where deleting save games would cause other save games to disappear. So if you were trying to get rid of a save and another one disappeared, obviously that's a huge issue, and that shouldn't be happening anymore with this update. Also, there were apparently issues with activating mods outside of Bethesda.net. So obviously that would be manually by yourself or with Nexus on a PC. And I know a lot of people still like that choice, to be able to do that and mod the game outside of Bethesda.net, even though that's the new kind of streamlined platform. And so I'm glad those issues are also ironed out for those people. And finally, there were some minor bug fixes and optimizations to the mods load order and browsing. So if you're trying to use the in-game mods menu, apparently there were some issues there, and they're not there anymore after this update. The last little group of fixes relates to quests, and there were only 2 quest fixes this time around. So first off, you could get stuck in the elevators in the Mass Fusion building during Mankind Redefined. That won't happen anymore. And Boston After Dark now completes properly when you're waiting for Old Man Stockton at the very end. And so you shouldn't have issues with those quests any longer after this update. Generally speaking, this is one of the smaller updates for the game in the major update cycle. So that's 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and this is finally 1.6. And I guess it makes sense because they're, in the middle of implementing PS4 mods. We just got Xbox One console mods a month ago. They're in the middle of making all this DLC, and so I guess it makes sense that this is kind of one of the smaller ones and maybe doesn't give, a ton of new features. I do think exit saving is a nice addition to this update. But I'd like to hear from you guys. After watching this video, do you think that exit saving is good or bad? I know this is probably another polarizing issue. Some people are going to say it's an excuse to cheat around survival mode. Other people are really going to enjoy it if they don't have a ton of time to play the game in one sitting. And also, I'd like to hear your general thoughts on this update. Did it fix something, a specific issue that you were finding within the game? Or is there some other fix that you need in a future update? Share what you guys are experiencing in the comments below. Alright guys, today I shared the update 1.6 patch notes for Fallout 4. Next time we will cover more Fallout on my channel, so stay tuned for Fallout 4 tips and tricks videos. If you learned something new or enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button, I would really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe for more DLC coverage, my survival mode live streams, Bethesda.net mods, and general tips and tricks videos. Talk to you guys next time. Peace!